Good evening, everybody. In my English 1301 class, I am going to try and catch up your grading. I just read through the entire discussion board on workshopping a paper, and I was really impressed by the courage everybody has to receive feedback and the kindness to offer feedback in a constructive way, because in a world where you can be anything, be kind. Be kind. Realize everybody is learning, everybody's evolving every day. There's not enough empathy in the world, according to me. That's my opinion. And if you've had bad experiences, negative experiences with writing before, that can affect your confidence a lot. Writing is a skill. It's like learning to ride a bike. When you first learn, I remember my grandson, you have to steer, you have to pedal, you have to balance and get a few feet without falling off. And I remember him throwing down his bike saying, "I'm never going to ride a bike without training wheels." And I'm like, "You will. Someday you will get it, and you will just get on and ride like the wind. You won't think about steering, balancing, the pedals, whatever. You would just get on the bike and go." He's like, "I don't believe that." And I think writing is like that. It's a learned skill. It's not just born. I have been writing forever. I used to write children's stupid stories for my cousin when she was little. I called her Goober, and everything went wrong for Goober. She would get an ice cream cone, and the wind would blow the ice cream onto the ground, and it was like all these terrible things were happening to her. And she used to laugh and laugh. And so I would make these books. I made pop-up books by threading things, so when she opened the page, things would pop out. And she is so sorry she didn't keep those books, and I am too. I started doing that when I was 9 years old. So, yeah, I always liked writing, and I got a lot of good tips on it and strong feedback that was positive. Why not be positive? Anybody can be negative, and they used to call correcting a paper in red ink and writing all over, so your paper's mostly red, so it's got so many corrections you don't even know what's going on. That's called bleeding red ink onto a paper. I think Dion mentioned this. And I started to write with a purple pen after that, and then after that I said, never mind, I'm going to use a pencil. Because I could be making a mistake. I could say, you need to mention this or that, and then two paragraphs later it's mentioned. So yeah, it was always intended by the writer. So it's really hard to keep your pen or pencil off the paper when you're in a face-to-face class and not start marking it up. I read the whole paper first for content, to get the gist of what the writer's trying to say. And that is the most important thing, is your content, your message, what you're trying to get across to somebody else. It's not every little piece of punctuation, every bit of grammar, a misspelled word. That's not the heart of your paper. Having an idea and getting somebody's interest in your paper by having a great title of your paper, a great first sentence or two, pull the reader in, reel them in like a fish. And I was in the newspaper business for 14 years, and then they did eye testing, the pupils of the eyes, scientific testing, and they saw that people would read the headline and the first few sentences and then scan it and then go on to the next story. So if you did not hook your reader in the first few sentences, then you lost them to another story. So, that has been pretty huge for me. And it's hard to nail that down. Sometimes I start my paper in the middle. Sometimes I start with the conclusion. But halfway through the paper, sometimes I just free write, get everything up on the screen. And halfway down there, I'll say, hey, that's the point I'm trying to make. And then I put that at the top. So, yeah, it's like sculpting clay sometimes, I can count on my husband to cough very loudly and watch Marvel movies while I'm trying to make a video. I tried to get it done before he got home. So pardon the audio on this. I was just so struck, impressed, and encouraged by everybody on the Inkjet workshop 4. I just read the whole thing, and no, I have not posted grades, but I feel like people are holding each other up. The whole point is, if you're going to give feedback, give the writers something to go on, give them something to improve their paper. Tearing it down does nothing. And especially, I have had students write to the students, your grammar's not good, this is not good, that's not good. Try again. I'm like, oh, what? Try what again? So, yeah, you can be constructive, but you don't have to be rude about it. And it has happened before that I've had to talk to some students, say, hey, tone it down, this is not a regimented form. Writing is very fluid. It's different from one person to another. Some people speak several languages. And you just have to know where people are coming from and not nitpick things. So with your papers, I will try to give you feedback that is valuable to you. And the big picture and the content is what I look for the most. And then there's the little things. That being said, thank you all for being so decent to each other. I consider this class, it's different than my other classes because you have already developed as a community of writers. That was the whole point. And you have a writing fellow, Krista Mayfield. She's working on a video for you right now on citations and a handout on citations. And I appreciate everybody who's responded to Krista. She is doing an amazing job and trying to relate to everybody. She is a student also. And sometimes students give the best feedback. You know where you're coming from. I have a PhD. I've been writing a long time, and sometimes students just relate to each other better. So yeah, please give Krista a chance. She can really help you through the papers. So that's the main portion of the grade, is the major papers. The first one coming up is your literacy autobiography. Once you read about the autobiographies of other people, then you can decide on your own how you came to be literate, how you came to read and write, a pivotal moment, a moment that you knew you belonged in another culture, another language, in reading and writing. Maybe it was a book, maybe you read The Hunger Games, Divergent, there's a lot of books out there, people related to Harry Potter and chapter books, and you decided maybe you did like to read, as long as it was something that you were interested in and not just an academic prompt. speaking of prompts, read them twice. Read them 3 times before you start an assignment, because sometimes in the discussion boards you need to respond to 2 people, and in the writing workshop it said to respond to 5 people. That's new this semester. I didn't catch that right away. A collaboration of teachers worked on this course, and so read the prompts and meet the requirements. I once in graduate school did not read in doctoral school, did not read a prompt on a 5-hour quiz and exam, and I had to translate from Old English. It said translate these words from this to that, and I just jumped in and started translating words, and almost an hour had gone by and I was still translating words, and I had to write an essay and translate from Beowulf. And the teacher told everybody after it was over, "Why are you all so behind?" And we're like, the definitions were pretty tough. And she said, "Well, I put 10 words in there, but you only had to define 5. And I didn't read that in the prompt. I didn't notice that. I just saw define these words and, this, that, and that format, and I just dove in. And a big mistake, but I made the grade, got the essay done. Had to work faster than I wanted to, and I won't say I just almost didn't just break into tears during that exam. But yeah, read the requirements, meet the requirements. Meeting the requirements is usually a C, and go beyond that. So when you're responding to people on discussion boards, write at least a full paragraph, engage with what they say. Don't, you could quote their words back to them, use quotations when you do readings. Get started now, because there'll be quotations in the paper, and Krista Mayfield will help you on how to quote in a paper, which is called an in-text citation. Your paper's the text, it's in the text. Outside of the text is the works cited page, which has different kinds of citations for your sources. I just want to let you know that I'm doing my best to keep up, and I am just really pleased for the work that you're doing. So keep going and visit with Krista, and I'm going to be adding some things into the modules that she's working on to help you relate to things more than my videos or just what's written in the course. And I would like to have a live session and meet all of you. I know that's kind of hard because some people have jobs and families and other obligations, and so I'll do my best on finding time to do that. So this is my little pep talk for the day from my office kitchen, and the man quit coughing, and I don't hear a Marvel movie coming on with superheroes or dinosaurs in Jurassic Park crashing through the forest or anything, so he toned it down for me. So I want you to keep going, just keep going, stay motivated. It's not a race. So I will see you at the next video.